Hello boys and girls, Mr. Jamini. Wanted to do a little review of solving equations with fractions. Now, I'm going to take a look here and I'm going to rewrite it down here. So we have k, we have some unknown k plus 1/8 is equal to 11 and 1/4. Now here, you might see a little difference in the way I do it than you do it because I'm a little bit more proficient with my fractions than maybe some of you, but we want to get to where I'm going to start going. So I want to isolate that k. There's no coefficient. I want to isolate that k. What I'm going to do to isolate it, k wants to be by itself on this side of the equation. So we have the right side of the equation, we have the left side of the equation. Or excuse me, we have the left side of the equation and the right side. I know my directions here. The left side just wants to be k. So to get k by itself, we need to get rid of 1/8. Now I see that we're adding 1/8. Well, the opposite of adding 1/8 is to subtract 1/8. So I'm going to subtract 1/8 from both sides. Now the next thing I notice is that we have k by itself, which is what our goal was. But now we have 11 1/4 minus 1/8. Now the eighths and the fourths don't talk to each other. Let's get them to talk to each other. Well, the first thing I notice is that I'm looking at the denominators 8 and 4. What's their least common multiple? What's their least common multiple? Well, it is 8. So I'm going to rewrite the 8 here. This since it already is 8, we'll just write the 8 down here. Now, what did I multiply 8 by? What did I multiply 8 by to become 8? Well, I multiplied by 1. It just stays the same. What did I multiply 4 by to get 8? Oh, we multiplied it by 2, so we go by 2 up here. 1 times 2 is 2. Now I'm able to subtract. 11, we have 2 minus 1 is 1. We have 11 and 1/8. Now it says type as a whole number, fraction, or mixed number. So my thought is we do this and we go 11 and 1/8. And let me erase my drawings here and let's hit check my answer. And hey, we're right. Let's go to the next one. Okay, we have another adding and subtracting with fractions. And this one is both mixed numbers. So we have 3 and 4/5 plus some unknown is going to give us 5 and 1/6. Alright? Let's take a look. Find my variable. It is g. G wants to be left alone on this left side of the equation. So to get g by itself, we must get rid of the 3 and 4/5. Now to get rid of it, it seems to be a positive 3 and 4/5. There's no negative sign in front of it, so we're going to subtract 3 and 4/5 from both sides. When I subtract 3 and 4/5 from 3 and 4/5, I have nothing, which leaves me with g by itself, which is exactly what we were doing, which what our goal was. Now 3 and 4/5. Now here I run into a little issue again. I don't have common denominators. The denominators are not the same. I cannot take fifths and sixths. They won't talk to each other. So let's find their common denominator. I'm going to bring the 5 over, bring the whole number over, bring the 3. What's the least common multiple of 6 and 5? What's the least common multiple of 6 and 5? So think about listing the multiples of 6. 6, 12, etc. 5, 10. Well, their least common multiple in this situation would be 30. Put the 30 here. I'll put a 30 here. Now, what'd you multiply 5 by to get 30? You multiplied it by 6. So you multiply the 4 by 6. You get 24. What'd you multiply 6 by to get 30? You multiplied it by 5. Let's multiply this by 5. 1 times 5 is 5. Now, it's nice we have the same denominators, but I cannot take 24 from 25. And because I'm subtracting, I need to have that large numbers be on top. Now, because one whole has 30, I'm just going to rename this as 4, but I want it to be equal to 5 and 30 30ths. I get the 30ths because I see that each part of a fraction is broken into 30 parts, so one whole is 30. So now I have 4 and 30 30ths, which is equal to 5 minus 4 and 30 30ths plus an additional 5 30ths that I have over here, minus 3 and 24 30ths. Well, let's take these here and let's combine them now. So now we have 4 wholes plus the one whole that I renamed, and I add that to the part that I had over here of that other whole. So I have 35 30ths minus 3 and 24 30ths. I go to put in my answer. I have 35 minus 24 is 11. It's 11 30ths, and that gives me 1. So my answer will be 1 and 11 30ths. Let's do it as a mixed number here. 1 and 11/30. Let's check to make sure my answer is correct. All right, good. I left my work there just in case I was wrong. I could go back and check. All right, let's try another one. Oh, a little subtraction. Now we have h minus 7 and 5/6 is equal to 5 and 1/12. What am I going to do here? Well, I want to isolate that h on the left side of the equation. It wants to be left alone. It wants 7 and 5/6 to leave its party. Well, to get rid of 7 and 5/6, we see it's subtracting. Well, the inverse of subtraction is addition. So I'm going to add 7 and 5/6 to both sides. 7 and 5/6. Now, taking a look here, I look at the numbers. We have 2 and we have 6. Now, this is what I'm thinking. I can make halves. If I have a half, how many 6 are in half? It's 3. So this really becomes 5 and 3/6. Again, I see this as 6. Well, if I have half and 6 work well, so I'm just going to go into a half there, and I know that there's 3 6s equivalent to 1/2. So then we have plus the 7 and 5/6, plus the 7 and 5/6. Now I just add. We have 3 plus 5 is 8. That is 8/6. 7 plus 5 gives me, I believe, 12. Now the next thing I notice, this fraction, mixed number is fine, but I'm looking at the fractional part of the mixed number. It says 8/6. Well, I see it's improper. That because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So what I'm going to do is say, how many times does 6 go into 8? It goes 1 whole time. So I'm going to add that 1 whole to the 12 that I already have, which is 13. And then I say, hey, wait, because it goes in 1 whole time, I'm going to say 8 minus 6. I have 2 left over. That's 2 6, which then can be simplified by dividing both numerator and denominator by 2. That gives me 13 and 1/3. 13 and 1/3. Again, I'll leave my work there just to double check to make sure I am right. That way it's easier. No, I don't want that. Come on. There we go. So it becomes, let's see if I can move this. There we go. Let's go with 13 and 1/3. Excellent. All right. So hopefully this helps you out a little bit. We'll do one last one. Let's do this one here. We have 2/5. We're taking 2/5 of some number. So we don't have all the number, we just have 2/5 of it. And that 2/5 is equal to 7. So I have 2/5 of something equals 7. Now, here we have our coefficient. 2/5 is our coefficient. We don't care what 2/5 of p is, we want to know what 1 whole p is. So to get rid of the 2/5, I need to divide both sides by 2/5. Divide by 2/5. Now when you are dividing fractions, you are really multiplying by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So this 7, now I change it to a fraction where any whole number can be written as a fraction is 7/1. We're going to times it by the reciprocal of 2/5, which is, reciprocal is a fancy word for the flip, the reverse, is 5/2, and that equals 35 halves. Alright? Some people are like, well, I don't understand that, Mr. Jimmy. Let's take a look at this one. Let's say I had 12 divided by 3. Well, what is 12 divided by 3? 12 divided by 3 is 4. Well, what if I asked you, hey, I want 1/3 of 12? What is 1/3 of 12? So what is, let me just change that, what is 1/3 of 12? Or if I were to break 12 up into 3 equal parts, so if you want to think about it this way, it's what is 12 divide 12, we want to see here, 12 divided by, what is that, how we work that? So 1/3 of 12. I'm thinking about what is 1/3 of 12. I'm taking that 12 and breaking it up into groups of 3. So I have a group of 3. I have groups of 3. I want 3 groups. Notice how I have 1, 2, 3 groups, and in each group is 4. In each group is 4. So 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Same as what is 1/3 of 12. We are multiplying 12 over 1 times 1/3. which is equal to 12 over 3, which means 12 divided by 3, which equals 4. All right. So getting back to our question, it says, hey, what is this? Well, we know it's 35 halves. All right. Hope this helps you out with tonight's evening practice. Take care.